Between the Covenant School Eagles and your Trinity Titans. Please rise and remove your cap for the play of our national anthem.
You could stand up.
And now your starting lineups, starting with the Eagles. Number 4, Reese Dalton. Number 13, Michaela Hargrove. Number 15, Katie Garaska. Number 23, Delaney Poindexter. Number 24, Kerrigan Poindexter. And now the starting 5 for your...
All right, good evening and welcome to our TESPN coverage of tonight's doubleheader. First, girls basketball as the Covenant Eagles visit the Trinity Episcopal Titans. And we have the Titans starting lineups coming up now as Lucy Rowe comes out, Alexa Linton. It's also going to be Addison Wynn, Lily Ferguson, and Sophie Dolan starting for the Titans. And I'm Rick Hamlin, joined here by Lily Jeanette, 11th grader here at Trinity Episcopal. And Lily, I know you've done a lot of great, remarkable things on this court below us on the volleyball side of things in the fall. And excited to welcome you for your first broadcast on the basketball side.
To be here.
Yeah, great to have you. Got pretty good little crowd here on a Friday night. Got
it's always good to have a few students.
Absolutely.
Definitely brings the energy up on the court.
Yeah, for sure. And with it's nice. Actually, this is really the second of a triple header here tonight at Estes Athletic Center as the boys JV team just played St. Christopher's. Came up a little bit short, dug a hole early, made a little bit of a comeback, but the Saints were able to get the victory in that one.
Yeah.
And now we've got girls varsity. And then after this, we will have the boys varsity taking on the Saints of St. Christopher. So big night of hoops here at Estes. Great to be back. It's the first home games for the boys and girls since before Christmas, really since about a month now, since mid-December.
Yeah.
And Covenant controls the opening tip. And Reese Dalton brought it across. And now it's swung back over to Dalton, who's going to shoot a three, which goes in and out.
Sophie Dolan rebounded that.
Yeah, Sophie Dolan taking it hard the other way. And nice move by Sophie. And the rebound for Addison Wynn. As she gets it back across to Dolan, back to Wynn. And looked like a little contact, but it's going to be a turnover. Steal there for number 24, Kerrigan Poindexter. And she passes to her sister, I assume her sister, Delaney Poindexter. But that shot came up short, and Addison Wynn brings it across, and we are nearly a minute into the game, still no score.
Seems like Addison is filling in that point guard position tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So you and I were talking about it off air before the game, but for our viewers, V. Updike, the normal starting point guard, not here this evening. I don't know if V maybe tuned in up in New York. So if so, how you doing, V? And I know you're looking forward to making up that history test next week. But in the meantime, you're right. Addison Wynn playing that point guard position. Addison the most experienced player on this team, her 4th year on varsity. Of course, last year they only played 1 game, so wasn't a full season, not even close with COVID, but good to see her back out there. Sophie Dolan also has made a return. She missed several games from a concussion, but it's really important. Sophie, one of the better scorers on the team, and that ball goes out of bounds off of Covenant. Good battle there. Alexa Linton, if you haven't seen these girls play, Alexa is a great just effort player, number 20, freshman. She's not afraid to box out. Just loves that physical side of the game. So I really enjoy watching Alexa play. But
it's a pretty good balance of younger players and older players on this team for sure.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you about as the broadcast progresses, because you, as one of the captains of the volleyball team this fall, was a very young team. Like you said, a bit of balance where you did have a couple seniors and a couple juniors, but a lot of young players. And this team's the same thing, other than this team has no seniors.
Yeah.
Pretty unusual to see a varsity high school team with no seniors, but you know, there's good news there as well, because it's a good chance to build for the future. And I think this group has been getting better. They've had a couple, frankly, blowout losses, but they've also been more competitive. And that's a
First point on the board.
Yeah, 2-point bucket by Sophie Dolan, and there was only 1 on the shot clock. So great job by Sophie. And there's a block from Lily Ferguson.
I would say the benefit of having a younger team is when you all come in together, you all build together. And so by the time they're on the older side of it, they'll be a lot closer and play better together.
No, that's a great point. And you know, the challenge being an older player on a team like that, though, is that, you know, the young players don't know what they don't know. And so you end up even as a team member having to do some coaching.
Yeah, you got to step into the role of just like the coaching role. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. The old head.
Yeah.
Well, there's Alexa Linton again battling. We talked about that a minute ago, how she is such just a tough, hard-nosed player, and she's able to secure possession for the Titans with a held ball, and the possession arrow goes to Trinity. But turnover there, good press by Covenant, and Addison Wynn got a little careless with it, and now Addison's going to commit a foul.
First foul of the game, I believe.
It is the first foul on either team, and one thing to look for is Addison Wynn, the last 2 home games that we broadcast, got in early foul trouble with each of those games. She had 3 fouls in the first half, and now an early one here. And really, this team needs Addison on the court. So
yeah, she's an aggressive player. She's not afraid to get in there.
Yeah, and there's a fine line. I mean, you want aggressiveness. Aggressiveness is great, but you do not want her in foul trouble. This team doesn't have the depth or the experience to afford Addison,
especially when she's already filling in a position.
Yeah, if she were to have to go out, I don't know who the point guard would be. And there's another turnover, but Addison able to steal it back and then turns it back over. So a little bit sloppy from both teams here in the early going. There's Addison getting another hand on the ball. She's been super active, and I know how much Addison wants to get back in the win column.
Yeah.
And Ceylon Duncan, sophomore, checking in for Lucy Rowe Jr., so first sub of the game for either team. And there's the Poindexter sisters connecting again, and now they hit the high post, and that was number 15, Katie Veraska, missing that shot. Lily Ferguson rebounds, just an 8th grader, Lily Ferguson. And double teaming Addison. Good pressure defense.
Handling the ball well.
She is. She split that double team. Now it's almost a triple team. And another held ball. This time it'll go over to Covenant. But just early on, these teams look pretty evenly matched, and I suspect we could have a game that should be pretty close. Which would be fun on a Friday night to have close high school sports, man. This is what TESPN is all about.
The best games.
Exactly.
Are the ones that go back and forth like that.
For sure. Still probably of all the games we broadcast, well, I guess the football championship would have to probably be my favorite, but y'all's senior night volleyball game against Stab was definitely top 3.
It's just a different type of fun.
Yeah,
even when you're playing or even if you're just cheering on.
Exactly. The players love the close games. The viewers love the close games. As broadcasters, we love the close games. I think the only people that maybe don't are the
It's like
coaches.
Caitlin Watkin is subbing in for Sophie Dolan.
Yeah, great to see Caitlin out there. Of course, she's one of your teammates in volleyball.
Yes.
And Caitlin is just a natural athlete. That's a nice shot there that is Delaney Poindexter, and she is a freshman, lefty. Caitlin also a lefty, and
definitely helps on the volleyball court.
yeah,
to have lefty.
for sure. And that one rolls around and out, and Ceylon saved it off of thought it was off of Reese Dalton, but it may have caught Ceylon Duncan's foot because it is going to go over to Covenant.
Caitlin is another one of those players that is aggressive on the court, not afraid to step up.
No, she's not, and she really she's fun to watch play because she's really kind of wears her heart on her sleeve, and when she makes a good play, she gets hyped, she gets excited, which is great
Lots
to
of
see.
fun,
yeah, for sure. And
like
a
a
real good
triple team
teammate.
almost.
Yeah, I mean they're all over
Over.
Addison Wynn. This L ball will stay with Trinity.
Making it really hard for her to move it anywhere.
It is, and she's going to get a quick break. And I mean, Addison does look fatigued early, and she has a ton of responsibility. I mean, she's got the ball handling responsibility. She's being triple teamed. She's already got a couple steals, a couple rebounds. That's got to be a foul, and it is going to be the first foul on Covenant, and it's number 24, Kerrigan Poindexter. And she's just an 8th grader. I mean, I will say that we've talked about what a young team the Titans are, but Covenant also very young. In fact, they don't have any seniors.
They don't have any seniors either. Very few juniors, too.
Yeah, it's crazy to be at a varsity high school game and neither team has a senior. That is just very rare. But, you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, it just shows you both of these teams have a bright future. We didn't say this yet, or I think I was telling you right before we went on the air, but Covenant is 8-2 on the season, so they've done a really nice job handling their schedule. They're currently ranked 5th in the Division II for Vista, so this young group has done a nice job. And if we have any Covenant fans who may be watching up in Charlottesville, credit to your squad for getting off to a great start this season.
Number 3, Margaret Ann Graves just checked in. She's a sophomore. She checked in for Katie Varaska.
And there's a turnover. The Titans looking pretty active in that 2-3 zone, which is nice to see. I know at times this year, Coach London has been frustrated when they get too passive in the zone. And Addison Wynn comes back in for Ceylon Duncan. So get a little bit more ball handling out there. Ceylon is a tough defender, too. She's one of my favorite players to watch. No fear at all, and she will stick her nose in and try and get steals and rebounds. Which, as a former coach myself, you just love players like that put it all out there for the team. All right, so low scoring here early, but both teams playing really hard. Alexa Linton for 2, and the assist from Sophie Dolan. And that was a nice move by Alexa to tie it up at 4.
Both teams are playing pretty good defense tonight.
They are, yeah. I think both teams have been really strong defensively, and I think may have been a shot clock issue there. I'm not totally sure why the officials stopped play for a second, but now we're back at it. And Addison went with another rebound. I think that gives her already, at least 4 rebounds. Yeah. And then a foul in the backcourt on Covenant there. Second, and again, it was Kerrigan Poindexter. So 2 team fouls on Covenant, both on Kerrigan Poindexter. And she's been one of their stronger players, so that'll be something to keep an eye on if their coach, Caroline Wilkie, has to take her out. Good pump fake by Caitlin Watkins, and I think she got fouled, and I think it's going to be the 3rd on Poindexter. And that's got to be frustrating for Coach Wilkie there, that it looked like she was maybe thinking of already getting her out with the 2 fouls, and now she's got 3 in the first quarter.
CC Corby goes in for her. She's an 8th grader as well.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, they've got looks like 4 8th graders on this team, as well as a couple of freshmen. So the fact that they're 8-2 playing a varsity schedule is really impressive. And this Titan team, as we continue to talk about, also just 2 juniors, I guess 3 juniors. Lucy Roa is a junior as well, I think, right? But no seniors. And here comes the press again. And Alexa Linton gets trapped, but good job by
It's going to be
Covenant.
Trinity's ball.
Yeah, deflected out of bounds. And continue to see students filter in, so that's a nice crowd.
Yeah. I will say one of my favorite things about Trinity Athletics is our students.
Yeah, for sure.
They get really involved in the games, make it so much more fun.
Absolutely. Lily Ferguson shot off the backboard and rebounded by Margaret Ann Graves.
Caitlin Watkins did a really good job getting back there to defend.
And that ball is going to go out of bounds and back to the Titans.
Ava Hoyle.
Yeah, her first appearance of the game. Another young player, just a freshman, Ava Hoyle. And nice job there by Addison Wynn, but then she gets her pocket pick from behind, and that's where her teammates have got to let her know.
Yeah.
And then turn back over. Good idea by Reese Dalton, but just way out of the reach of Michaela Hargrove. But Addison made a great move. She got out of that double team, but I mean, it's technically her turnover, but I blame that on her teammates not just giving her a shout that there's a man on behind you.
Yeah.
Good closeout by Ava Hoyle and a good block by
yeah.
Alexa Linton. And again, I mean, they put in Addison Wynn in a really tough position there.
She definitely has a lot of pressure on her right now.
She does. She does. And you can see it's wearing her out a little bit, but she's a tough kid as well, and
For
she's going
sure.
to keep battling. That's off the foot of Delaney Poindexter. We've got 13 on the shot clock, 14 on the game clock here in the first quarter. So winding down, 3-point lead for the Eagles from Covenant. And this could tie it, but off the back rim by Sophie Dolan. And Eagles pushing it up, trying to get a last shot before the end of the quarter. And they do get it off, but no good by Margaret Ann Graves. So 1 quarter in the books, and your score after 1 quarter, Covenant 7, Trinity Episcopal 4.
Still a low-scoring game.
It is, but defenses have been good. Both teams have had a few quality looks that didn't go in, but
a few fouls, too, in the first quarter.
Yeah, just your general impressions. I don't know how much you've gotten a chance to see our girls this year, but just now having seen a quarter of this game, what are some just things you've noticed as a spectator?
They're definitely a really aggressive team. Don't let down for much. I definitely notice I don't know.
Well, and I think this is a game that they were particularly excited about.
Yeah.
Just talking to some of the girls, I teach some of these girls, and I think it's been a struggle. They played such a tough schedule, and we have such a young team. I mean, age-wise, you're mostly looking at JV-aged players with a couple exceptions, and because we don't have a JV team this year, you're seeing some girls pushed into varsity action sooner than they might otherwise be.
If they notice that they're taking a lot shorter shots, trying to get it to the people more closer to the basket, while Covenant is taking kind of longer shots.
No, that's a good point. But yeah, just the vibe like leading into this game from the girls I talked to, they're feeling pretty confident, pretty excited. That's not going to help the confidence with Cece Corby hitting a 3 to extend the Covenant lead to 6, and that kind of speaks again to what you were talking about. The Covenant, they have shot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
And they've now made their last couple. Another rebound for Addison Wynn, and then she rips it away, says, "Get off me." Great look to Alexa Linton. And that layup was in and out. Great pass by Addison Wynn.
Those are painful.
Yeah, I know. And Caitlin Watkins was right there as well. There's another three-point attempt, and that one goes. And this game was 4-4 not long ago, but with 3 straight three-pointers by Covenant, they've pushed out to a 13-4 lead.
Covenant is just making it extremely hard for us to put a shot up and find our open players. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give them a lot of credit just for their overall defensive activity. I mean, their game plan is pretty obvious, which is pressure defense, trap, put as much pressure on the Trinity guards as possible and kind of dare them to get it over the top.
Yeah.
And then when they get the ball offensively, they've shot a large percentage of Covenant's field goal attempts have come from 3.
Yeah.
All right, so Coach Lana called that timeout. I think a very wise timeout to try and stem the momentum that was definitely very much headed towards the Eagles. Still a single-digit deficit here. Nice pass from Alexa
Lily's
to Addison.
open.
Yeah, I got a 3-on-2 here. Pass was a little behind Lily. Here's a three-pointer,
Oh,
bit long. Good rebound by Caitlin Watkins.
nice aggression there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strip that ball.
Sophie Dolan with a long 2, and Sophie's had several shots like that that were, I mean, very close, but just a little long or off the back rim. And
they're accurate though.
yeah, I mean,
Need
right. I
to
think she just
take a
needs
little
to
off.
see one go
Yeah.
in, and then it could be one of those where the floodgates open for her.
Confidence boost, yeah.
Yeah, and as a basketball player, sometimes you really do just need to see the ball go in the basket one time, and it just then the basket just starts to look bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good pressure defense there from Margaret Angraves, and I do think I'm not criticizing the officials, but they are letting some physical play go, and with that pressure defense that Covenant's playing, it does kind of benefit. The more physical the game is, and that helps Covenant. I have no problem with it though, as long as it's consistent. But
Yeah.
I thought, like, Caitlin Watkins, they had some contact with her down there, and that's a nice shot.
Delaney Poindexter's on fire.
Yeah, she's playing really well. The freshman, and there's another 3, no good, but
They're gonna keep it in play.
Eagles get that rebound. Good block by Lily Ferguson. Wow, that was impressive. Great timing and using her length, long arms to get that block. Nice crossover by Addison, and that ball was deflected. Going to stay with the Titans. Covenant in man-to-man, but they're quick to trap or switch screens if they get opportunity. And there's good pressure and another turnover. I think that the Eagles of Covenant really, it's just all about pressure for them defensively.
For sure. Making it extremely hard for us to move the ball anywhere.
Yeah, and also that's where the missing the ball handling of V. Updike is a factor as well, because she handles the ball really, really well.
She does. It's going to be a foul.
Yeah, they've got that one, I think, on Sophie Dolan for her first foul, and that is the 4th team foul. And good fake by Graves, and that's a really nice bounce pass. Good job by Covenant. They're executing off the inbounds play. That's exactly
connecting really well.
How you draw it up. Yeah, well, good job again getting into the middle to Sophie Dolan. It's, again, a lot of contact.
A jump ball.
And a jump ball is going to stay. Possession's going to stay to the Titans. Three-pointer from Addison Wynn. A little long, but the follow, Alexa Linton, no. But again, and this time Alexa gets it to go for her fourth point of the game, and that was a needed basket. The Titans had not yet scored here in the second quarter, nearly halfway through the quarter. Good job by Caitlin Watkins to tie it up. It will retain possession for Covenant, but it's still a big play because then the next time the hell ball will go back over the Titans. So good job by Caitlin, just kind of sticking her nose in and being aggressive there. Now, last inbounds play, Covenant was able to get a great layup, but this time much better defense from the Titans coming off the inbounds. With 2 on the shot clock. Three-pointer no good. Sophie Dolan collects the rebound, and I'm laughing a little because that's one of those where you had a junior and a freshman kind of basically get the rebound at the same time, and the freshman's like, yeah, you take it. Nice block by Addison Wynn. Really good job to avoid fouling. Definitely want to keep her out of foul trouble, but she got the block, secured it. Sophie Dolan, there she
Yeah,
gets one
there
to
it
go.
goes.
There's that 3, and hopefully that'll get her going. And now Coach Lana going to call a timeout. I think maybe just to the girls on the court are looking a little fatigued. Hasn't been a ton of subbing.
Covenant's really running them around,
Yeah.
making them move a lot. So
Yeah,
it's
and
understandable.
exactly. And with V Update not here, that challenges the depth. And there's been a little bit of subbing, but I think most of the girls on the court have played virtually the whole time. So it looks to me just like an opportunity to get them a little break. Because sorry, go ahead, Lily.
I was just going to say, I think Covenant's ball movement is being displayed on the scoreboard right now. They're doing a really good job. Not staying in one spot, taking different shots, mixing it up.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think they just Covenant has all the hallmarks of a really well-coached team. And really, particularly when you talk about a team with no seniors, just how they play, you wouldn't know that. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at them, they do look young. So I'm not surprised, but if you just, didn't know better, but just watch how they play, that they just look like girls that have played together for a long time.
Yeah.
And sometimes a K through 12 school like Covenant will have that advantage. I mean, some of these girls may have been playing basketball together since, 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a nice take by Michaela Hargrove. And
That's one thing that's hard about coming into an 8 through 12 school is don't have as good as a bond, I'd say, and you have to work on it more.
Right. It has to be very intentional.
Yes.
And I think it's just that continuity. It's a good look, but nice defense.
I definitely saw that with volleyball, so I completely understand that and having to adjust.
Yeah, that's
so
a nice three-pointer by Hargrove. Yeah, and I think there can be advantages as well to a school like ours. It's really just a high school because it's kind of a fresh slate for everybody, and everyone's sort of in the same boat. So you may not like that time that your teammate was mean to you back in 5th grade. Like sometimes I think K through 12s have different challenges, or almost like not getting sick of each other after all those years. But there is that bond that goes. So it's kind of, I think on the court it can be a real advantage to just know who your teammates, what their strengths and weaknesses are, where they like to catch it. Lily Ferguson pulls up.
I've noticed a step up from Michaela Hargrove since Kerrigan Poindexter checked out of the game.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, Hargrove is I believe up in double figures now, and good rebound by Ferguson. And Addison Wynn will bring it up. Ceylon Duncan did check back into the game, and I don't see Sophie Dolan right now.
A little frustration from Addison.
Yeah, that's a nice pass, and a good layup by Lena Tiorini. And Covenant has extended this lead kind of quietly out to 17 points at 26-9. And yeah, Sophie Dolan came out as well a couple minutes ago. So I think Sophie was looking very fatigued. I saw her kind of holding her side.
Break.
Yeah, I mean she missed about a month after that concussion. So I'm sure just from a fitness standpoint, she's still, working back up to game speed. But it doesn't. I mean, it's probably not a coincidence that Covenant just went on a 9-0 run after Sophie went out. It was 17-9 after Sophie hit that 3. And it felt like Titans were right in it, single-digit game. She needed a break, which I totally get, but it's just when either Sophie or Addison aren't in, just what you lose from a ball handling standpoint is pretty obvious. And Covenant, to their credit, was able to take advantage of that and go on a 9-0 run. So these last 2 minutes, I think, before halftime are big. Coach London uses that 3rd timeout. You only get 5.
Yeah.
But I think he saw his team was on the verge of, potentially getting way behind. He is going to get Sophie Dolan back in.
I'm hoping that maybe in the second half the students will start to get a little bit more engaged. That might help a little bit too.
It would help. That's a very good point. And you talked earlier about the importance of student support, and that's something we're very blessed with here. But I think when a lot of students are around but not really cheering, that can almost have a negative effect. But nice job there breaking the press. And Sophie Dolan looked like Coach London drew something up in the timeout, and it worked to perfection. And that was a big bucket.
That put us into double digits, I believe.
Exactly. Lily Ferguson, another rebound. And, you know, Lily, as she brings it up, I mean, the center bringing it up, playing a little point guard here, and now she's going to put up a shot that almost went in but didn't. I mean, basketball is probably Lily's third best sport. I think she's really good. I've heard lacrosse player and,
yeah.
and also plays field hockey. So to be starting as an 8th grader in your quote-unquote third sport is it's pretty impressive.
Well, we could definitely use her height. It's definitely helping.
Yeah, for sure. You could probably use it on the volleyball court as well. But I mentioned earlier how Ceylon Duncan never backs down. I mean, you saw her there just battle, get a hell ball, going to be Titan ball, and going to be a Trinity inbounds from underneath. See what we can draw up here. Another 3 from Sophie. Just short is online. Alexa Linton, man, she's got another rebound. And
that puts her up past 4, maybe 4 to 6 rebounds tonight.
Yeah, we don't have official stats right now, but I agree she's in that range. Sophie goes down. Hopefully, want to see her get back up, especially with the concussion she's had. All right, she looks fine. And a nice move there by Hargrove. And we got 25 seconds till halftime. It's a 30-11 score. Lee Ferguson, got to be careful dribbling into trouble. She does have Alexa Linton deep if she can throw it, but that's not where you want to go. And Covenant, though, turns it back over. We got a little bit of student engagement on that one. I think they enjoyed that. All right, so 10 seconds till halftime.
Like
Addison
Wynn's checking back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Give
and
Lily a break.
I mean, Lily played well, but I think she maybe tried a little too much point guard play. And see if the Titans can get a shot off here with 5.
I think really we need Lily down at the post and to make that pass.
Ceylon Duncan able to get a good look before the buzzer, but rims out. And we'll go to halftime. Halftime score, Covenant 30, Trinity Episcopal 11. Let's do this. We're going to take a brief break here, and then we'll come back a couple minutes before the second half starts, give a little bit of a recap of what we've seen here. And also perhaps I'll try and do a little preview for the boys game, because we have, after this game, boys varsity against St. Christopher's as well. So take a short break here. Stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. And thanks for watching. So I did a little scouting, so I'll give you some nuggets in a minute.
First thing I noticed is Delaney Poindexter has checked back in.
That's right. With the 3 fouls, she was out for
pretty much
the whole second quarter.
Yeah, majority of the first half. That's another one for Alexa Linton.
Yeah, Alexa Linton, I think maybe the leading scorer now with 6, and she also got the crowd going a little bit. Yeah, nice little elbow jump shot goes in and out for Katie Varaska. Titans coming out with good energy here, I think, in the second half. So, Lily, we didn't, as that shot was blocked by Reese Dalton, we didn't really, I said we were going to have a halftime report, but then I got talking to some of the other coaches and stuff. So, but I did want to ask you from the first half, what are just your impressions? What can the Titans do to get back in the game? And just what are some things that you noticed seeing this first half?
Well, I noticed from both teams step-ups from teammates when either a player needed a break or had to go out of the game for foul trouble. I definitely think that Trinity can maybe switch up their shots a little bit, try to move the ball. I think they're having a hard time like driving because of Covenant's defense that they're playing, but
yeah, that was a nice pass ahead of the defense there, I believe by Poindexter to Hargrove. But yeah, I think the factor that I noticed was fatigue. I just think that with V Updike not here, who usually plays the whole game.
I think they're down a few players today.
Yeah, and
definitely plays a role.
So I thought if you look at the first quarter, it was very close. Then early second quarter, it was close, but I think that it got away a little bit.
It definitely,
once they got fatigued.
When two of your older players need a break or check out of the game, it causes a little bit of, I guess, chaos. The younger girls did have to step up there and just a little harder. But I think that we have Addison and Sophie back in the game now. I see a little bit of more energy and excitement on the court. A little bit more energy from the students over there.
Yeah, I thought maybe a foul there. But they're going to say it was a clean block. All right, so ball does go out of bounds to Covenant. And they do have a 20-point lead here, 33-13. Titans back in that 2-3 zone. And again, if you're joining us late, just a reminder, Covenant 8-2 on the season. So this is a really strong and young Eagles team. And, credit to them, like I said, for just getting off to a great start on their season and in this first half. As we're now, obviously into the second half, but they were able to build that lead. And they're going to get a timeout here. And Covenant secured that long rebound, and then Coach Wilkie went ahead and called timeout before they got tied up.
Is that her first or second?
That's the first timeout that they've used, yeah. So they'll still have 4 to go. And I know one thing when I coached that I loved, if possible, to preserve at least 4 timeouts for the second half, even better, 5.
Yeah.
So that's a nice advantage just to know that if you get in that situation, or if you dive on the floor for a loose ball, you can just call timeout. You don't have to rush anything because you got plenty in your pocket.
Yeah.
But it's a good luxury to have. Sometimes, like, having said that, I mean, Trinity used 3 first-half timeouts, but I think they were all pretty necessary to stem the momentum or to give, a tired, kind of thin group a break. So it's ideal if you can. Also, Coach obviously pointed out to them they only had 2 on the shot clock, and she had them ready to get the shot off. They did get it off, and then it hit the rim, so it resets the shot clock. Good defense by Lily Ferguson, and another rebound for Alexa Linton. I have not coached Alexa Linton, but I can tell she's just coachable. Like, you
Mhm.
can just tell she does what she's told. Get rebounds, find teammates, set good screens, dive on the floor. Just a big fan of her intangibles that she brings to the table.
Yeah.
That's
It's looking a little bit to me like Covenant has kind of pulled off of their defense maybe a little,
yeah, I think
not as
they're
aggressive.
they're not trapping as much, and I think with a 20-point lead, I think that shows some good sportsmanship and a little bit of class to call off the dogs. I know in an earlier game this season, we were down like 50, and the opponent was still pressing, although they pressed there. So maybe we may have spoken too soon on that, but and they get a steal and a bucket. But for me, I feel like I've always said in the first half it's all fair game
Mhm.
to press, but like once you get to the second half, if you're up 20 or more, I think it's a little bit rubbing it in. But different coaches will kind of have different opinions on that. And that's a three-pointer from Kerrigan Poindexter. She, as you mentioned, had to sit out most of the first half in foul trouble.
Mhm.
But that's a nice weapon to have her back in. And I feel like we jinxed it because as soon as we talked about them not pressing as much, they've now
They're
created
pressing, yeah.
another turnover, and there's another foul. Okay, so it's going to be 2 shots for Michaela Hargrove, and that foul was on Ceylon Duncan, her first.
Caitlin Watkins is checking in for Addison Wynn. Give her a little breather.
Yeah, every time Addison comes out, it makes me a little nervous just from a ball handling standpoint. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think she's necessarily able to go the full 32 either.
I just think it's a little bit difficult tonight without V because
Yeah.
when you take Addison out of the game, there's not a as solid of a point guard.
There's no doubt about that, Lily. And it also makes it more difficult for Addison because just from a basketball standpoint, if V's bringing it up, then Addison's on a wing, she can catch it and immediately attack.
Yeah.
But when the whole focal point of the defense is on you as the point guard, it makes it so much more difficult just to pick your spots, so it'll be, good to have V back next week. I believe that these girls, I don't have it in front of me, but if I remember from looking earlier in the week, I think their next game is against Collegiate here at home, I think on Tuesday, which I also think is going to be a TESPN broadcast, I believe. I know they also have St. Gertrude next week.
St. Gertrude is a
very
good
opponent. They have a very good team this year. They are third in the state in D1. I think they're second in the Metro for all schools, public and private. And I think they are the favorite in the LIS, so that's going to be a big challenge. I think that might be next Thursday, but
I think that's one of the few times Alexa has been taken out of the game.
Yeah, she's played virtually the whole time, so she certainly earned a break. It's good to see Addison back in. I mean, I love the hustle from Sophie trying to save that loose ball. But as someone who's suffered some concussions, it makes me nervous every time she hits the deck.
She's not afraid to throw herself on the floor.
No, she's not. And you love the effort for sure. I just don't want to see her hurt again. And that was a jump ball. Their Covenant coach tried to call a timeout, so they are going to give it to her. The one ref who was closer called jump ball, but the ref by the bench is going to say that they got the timeout before the held ball. So that's sort of what I was referring to earlier is in the second half, if you have all those timeouts in the bank, you have the luxury of making those calls and preserving the possession. And as we have this timeout, again, want to remind you coming up after this game, it'll be about 20 minutes between games, but then the boys varsity team will be facing St. Christopher's, and it's always a great rivalry when those two get together. Geez, man, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've either spectated, played in, or coached in Trinity St. Christopher's games.
Definitely
And
a game that all the students look forward to.
for sure, I know that the players do, from the coaches do from both sides. Like I said, I was able at the halftime of this game to talk to St. Christopher's coach Hamill Jones a little bit, and I know he's excited. And I mean, this is a facility here at Estes Athletic Center that the Titans have kind of controlled that series for the most part since this building is opened. I think Trinity is about 11-1 against the Saints in here, but I think St. Christopher's has a really strong team this year, so it's going to be a big challenge. And very excited to see. It's a game I expect to be close. I expect it to be a 4-quarter game that comes down to the wire. And yeah, back to this game. Great job by Caitlin Watkins to pressure that shot and force the air ball. And yeah, Covenant definitely going back to the trapping defense and putting a lot of pressure on Addison Wynn.
We're definitely, Trinity's definitely moving the ball better this half, though.
Yeah, for sure. And nice job there by
Dolan.
Sophie Dolan. And she puts another 2 up on the board. And
I think the first half was kind of them, Trinity adjusting to maybe some gaps in their lineup, and seems like they're getting the hang of it this half and finding each other and communicating a little bit better.
yeah, I agree. And I mean, it was what I think, I believe a 19-point halftime deficit, and now only 23. So this third quarter has been close to even, just a slight edge to the Eagles. Addison Wynn dribbles that one out of bounds. I did just pull up the schedule, and yeah, it is for these girls. Next week they have collegiate on Tuesday at home, which I believe we are broadcasting, and then St. Gertrude on Thursday. Not sure if we're doing that one. They're both at home, so more opportunities. Great effort by Sophie Dolan. What a phenomenal hustle play by Sophie. She looks like she took a shot to the throat, but she got up. And Addison picks up her dribble.
Kinda
She's in a little
stuck
trouble.
there.
Lee Ferguson
comes
helps
to help.
bail her out. Shot clock down to 12, but no harm, no foul. Ceylon penetrates. Her shot got blocked. And then that ball's off the official. It's actually still in play. If it hits the ref, it's just like it was going to go out, but it hit him. He actually kept it in. And then it's a live ball. Another steal for Covenant. That's a nice pass. And good block, though, by Sophie. I mean, the effort both teams are giving is tremendous.
Definitely see a increase in energy and effort this half.
That's a nice
Sure.
three-pointer by Cece Corby, another 8th grader for the Eagles. And timeout by Coach Lonan with 1:03 to go until the 4th quarter. Coach Lonan, I think, sensing that things were getting a little bit scattered, a little bit out of control, and also just sensing, I'm sure, that fatigue from his players gets a good time out there. So looking at this game now with 1:03 to go in the third quarter, pretty much just about every point I think the Titans have scored have been scored by either Sophie Dolan or Alexa Linton, which is not to say that other players haven't made big contributions, be it rebounding, Caitlin Watkins with some great defense, Ceylon Duncan as well, but and Addison Wynn, I can't remember, maybe did Addison get the first basket, I think, but she's had so much, so much ball handling duty, she hasn't really been able to get the scoring going.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that just going forward that the Titans are going to want to see a little bit more, just they need to get more people involved in the scoring column.
And
that's one thing Covenant's done really well,
Yeah.
or maybe that's what you were about to say.
I was about to say Covenant's top scorers are Michaela Hargrove, Delaney Poindexter, and Kerrigan Poindexter. I've definitely seen a lot from them.
Yeah, and I think just looking down the lineup, I think Covenant's probably had at least 6 or 7 players get in the scorebook, versus, like I said, just only 2 or 3 Titans have scratched the scoring today.
Yeah.
Good fake by Caitlin Watkins.
Oh,
The 3 was
just
off,
short.
but Ceylon Duncan rebounds. And now Ava Hoyle is checked into the game, I believe, for the first time in this half.
Nice ball handling there.
Good move by Caitlin Watkins. Shot comes up short. Look at this effort, though. I mean, even though almost knocked it away from each other, but just a phenomenal hustle from the Lady Titans. Yeah, looked. Addison Wynn was like, was that not a travel? I thought it was as well, but it's still going to be a turnover. Looks like Covenant had a soccer player over there on the bench who kicked it back in. So we'll be, I guess I'll be seeing that young lady out on the pitch this spring. I think we play Covenant. That was a nice touch there on that ball as it came to the bench.
You see the students
Yeah.
really starting to flow in now from both sides.
Yeah.
St. Chris and Trinity.
That's great to see. Getting my adrenaline flowing a little bit. Good block by Addison Wynn. Another rebound for Alexa Linton, but that is going to be the end of the third quarter. So after 3 quarters, our score is Covenant 42, Trinity Episcopal 16. I mean, definitely a mountain to climb. I think coming back to win the game is highly, highly unlikely for the Titans, but I still think how they play this fourth quarter is important for this young team just to continue to build some confidence and also try and get some momentum headed into a big week next week with league games against Collegiate and St. Gertrude. And also, if we're going to be honest, I mean, there's probably not many times that these girls are going to have this big of a crowd.
Yeah.
So it's also just an opportunity to show out in front of their classmates and peers, which is great. I mean, for years, as long as I've been here, I've always tried to talk up more people to come out to girls' games, and so there's a great, student section almost full here.
And they're standing up too. It makes me think that maybe they got something up their sleeve.
I would definitely love to see, and this young Covenant team. I mean, if this crowd would get pretty hype and pretty animated, I think it could potentially make things a little shakier for Covenant. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think if it were a little closer, it would help as well. But all right, so the fourth quarter underway. Covenant ball to get us started. Addie Taylor, who hasn't played a ton yet, but she's out there for the Eagles, number 14. That's a good pass by Kerrigan Poindexter. Good cross-court pass, but the shot went awry. Definitely hear some air ball chants coming from the students. Addison Wynn for 3.
Good
Online.
rebound.
Yeah, Sophie Dolan with the rebound. She's going to get fouled, go to the line. Good to see. And, yeah, you're definitely hearing a little more support from the students, which is great. First free throw is just a little bit off there for Sophie. Second one is long, and Kerrigan Poindexter with the rebound.
Another 3.
And
Kerrigan Poindexter.
yeah, they Covenant shoots the ball really well, and you can tell they really work on it.
Yeah.
Just how they prepare even before the ball gets to them. Their shot preparation is really good, and I think that's one thing a lot of players are not as strong at is that shot went off the shot clock there. But a lot of players will catch the ball and then be like, okay, here's what I do to shoot. But really, the best shooters, before they even get the ball, they've got their hands positioned, they got their feet set, and I've noticed Covenant does a really nice job with that. So you can just tell it's something that they work on.
Yeah.
And there, number 10, Lena Tiarini stepped out of bounds. Looked like she did actually take a shot in the face, but that didn't get called. Sophie Dolan for 3. Long again, and there stepped out of bounds there. Katie Veraska right in front of the students who enjoyed that. It's a 29-point difference, but I think the Sophie Dolan shot, so many of her shots have been so close. I mean, her percentage is not as high as you want it to be, but it's not like she's a million miles away.
Yeah.
On a different night, if some of those fall, it would be a lot closer. There's another just in and out by Addison Wynn. It's a good shot. It's close. Sophie Dolan again ripping it away. Sophie Dolan's probably been on the floor 6 times in this game. Talk about battling. This whole team, they're playing really hard. And that's really all you can ask from a young team. That's no call. Alexa Linton, another rebound. Can't shoot it from that angle, though, Alexa. And now the rebound by Cece Corby. She's a good ball handler, showing off some of those skills there. That's a nice looking move, but the shot goes long, and ball's gonna go over to the Titans. 5:40 should go in the game, but when this game ends, do stick around for Varsity boys, as the Saints of St. Christopher's, they're here, their team is here, their coaches are here, their students are filing in, dressed in black. Titan students dressed in white. Good guys against the bad guys.
Our Titan mascot is out now as well.
Yeah, pep band setting up. Sophie Dolan, another 3. Again, right on line, but this one just came up a little bit short.
As an athlete, I know that has to be so frustrating.
For sure.
It definitely can take a toll on you mentally.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it. But Sophie's really mature. She's tough. There she is on the floor again. It's a good thing she has those knee pads on, because she's been on the floor, I think, now 7 times. Another miss, and now she is, I think, needs a break. I think she just told Coach Lonan. Addison Wynn misses. Sophie is gassed for sure. That shot came up short and not quite able to save it. Sophie is going to get that sub that she needed, but you talk about a player leaving it all out there. She played as hard as she could until she had nothing left to give.
Yeah.
And she played well. Not a great game statistically, but she had great hustle, had a lot of rebounds, and still, as of this point, the leading scorer for the Titans tonight. Alex Geeson called for a travel there. Not too sure about that call, but overall, I think it's been a well-officiated game. I know all these refs. I've had some good conversations with all these gentlemen over the years, so it's kind of nice to be up here. I'm sure they're happy that I'm up here, not yelling at them. Good ball movement by Covenant. There's that shot preparation again I talked about, but the shot did come up short, and Lily Ferguson is able to secure the rebound as we hit the 4-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Lily Ferguson's pass a little bit behind Addison Wynn, but she secures it, throws it over to Lucy Rowe.
It's going to be Covenant's ball.
Yeah, that's where you got to have space. Caitlin Watkins and Lily Ferguson were right in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do a little bit better job there of spreading out.
I think Trinity is a little bit tired right now.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Titans have not scored in the 4th quarter. And that's just that's that fatigue. It's not that the effort has continued to be there, but
it's been a pretty back and forth game with a lot of turnovers. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just think the biggest difference really has just been shooting. The Covenant's hit more open shots. Great steal there by Addison Wynn, and she makes the layup.
I think that's her 2nd basket of the game. Maybe 3rd.
Yeah, great job by Addison with the interception and the layup. First points of this 4th quarter for the Titans, and then a nice steal by Lily Ferguson. And Lucy Rowe looked for the bank shot, but didn't quite get it. And Cece Corby with another rebound. That's a good pass by Cece Corby. I'm impressed with the 8th grader, number 2. Probably maybe the smallest player on the court, certainly on their roster. Corby is listed as the shortest player, but she looks very confident with the ball in her hands. Really good court vision. And the fact that she's only an 8th grader is got to be great news for Eagles fans that she's got 4.5 more years in a Covenant uniform.
It's definitely apparent that Covenant spends a lot of time on their shooting.
Yeah, that free throw there by Addie Taylor, and that one was long. But Addie Taylor had really nice form. There she tried to save it over her head, but had stepped out of bounds. 3-pointer in and out.
I think that's the first shot Ava Hoyle has put up this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good-looking shot right on target.
Looks a little bit to me like Covenant maybe slowing down a little bit as well.
Yeah, to be fair, they've taken pretty much most of their starters out. Hargrove, the Poindexter sisters.
There's a lot more enthusiasm from Covenant's bench, though.
Yeah, so we're minute 45 to go. 8 on the shot clock. Ava Hoyle for 3. Off the back iron. Lily Ferguson keeps it alive, and she scores. And Titans going to get a couple subs in. Sofia Huerta making her first appearance of the game. Along with Sophie Dolan is coming back in, so that's good to see. Sophie went out feeling, I mean, I think she, like I said, she was just completely exhausted, but got a rest for a couple minutes, and it's great to see her finish out this game. And that's an air ball, and Titans going to get it back. So Trinity has scored the last 4 points. So hopefully ending the game on a positive note. Sofia Huerta with the screen, looking to get Sophie Dolan open. It's a tough catch by Alex Geeson, but taken away there nicely by Addie Taylor.
Good defense there by Sophie Dolan. A little bit of a cluster there.
Yeah, a little bit as the clock winds down to 20 seconds. Ultimately, Lily Ferguson comes out with it. Good pass. And a nice layup to finish things off. And as the clock winds down, that's going to be the final score. Covenant 48, Trinity Episcopal 20. The girls played hard. Nothing to hang their hat about, but did not shoot particularly well. And at the end of the day, Covenant moves on to 9-2. Congratulations to the Eagles. Good luck for them the rest of the season. And we should be back for more girls Titan basketball next Tuesday against Collegiate. But we will be back very shortly for boys basketball. So, Lily, you're going to be signing off.
Yes.
Jack Toscano is going to be joining us here. I'll still be here. But, yeah, we're going to be here on the boys game here in just a few minutes. But, Lily, before we say goodbye to you, any closing thoughts in your first game commentating here for TESPN?
I had a lot of fun. I definitely saw a lot of improvement between the first half and the second half for our players, and just a lot of hustle, and you can tell that they left it all on the court there.
No question. Well, thank you so much, Lily. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, this long weekend. we will take a short break here. And let me actually ask, are we starting a new video for the boys game, or we just roll this one? Like, what's that? Okay. Yeah, so if you want to watch the boys game, tune back in just a few minutes to TESPN. We will be back, and the atmosphere is starting to build in here. So stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes for Titans against the Saints boys basketball.